My name is Colin Hastings. I'm the Executive Director of the Pasco Chamber of Commerce, and I welcome you back after a long reprieve. So yes, thank you. Good job. I know the Red Lion staff is happy to see some things getting back to normal, and I know most of us here are in the same boat too, so it's great seeing everybody's smiling faces. So we're delighted, and we've been holding off for this day to have Mayor Martinez be our keynote speaker today. So we're looking forward to that when that time comes, and I want to thank Kim Fall and Conover Insurance and Hub Conover Insurance for sponsoring today's luncheon. So with that, I'd like to invite everyone to join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may have a seat. I know there's a few elected officials that are slated to join us today, and so I'd like to take a moment to introduce them. I know from Franklin County we're going to have Prosecutor Sean Sant. I don't know if he's snuck in yet. Is he here yet? Okay, I don't see him yet. From the City of Pasco, we have City Council Member Dave Milne. I think Dave's here. Yep, there he is. And of course, we have Mayor Saul Martinez. From the Franklin PUD, we have Commissioner Stu Nelson. There's Stu right there. From the Port of Pasco, we have Commissioners Jim Clinworth, too. Hey, Jim. They're all sitting together there. Also like to take a moment to introduce some of the past presidents that are joining us here today, as well as our board of directors, and give them an opportunity to see everybody's faces again, and maybe you forgot what they look like if you're not on Zoom calls with them. But the list of past presidents that are joining us today are Tara Wiswall. Where's Tara? There's Tara. Daryl Ebert with the Dust Devils back there. I haven't seen Lance Hobson yet, but he's scheduled to be here. Kevin Williams, he's supposed to be here too. I don't know if he snuck in yet. Doc Hastings, right back here. Dorothy Shepik was going to make it today as well too, and I haven't seen her sneak in, so that's unfortunate. Julie Killian. There's Julie. And Ed Ray was supposed to make it, the godfather of the Pasco Chamber, but his allergies are just affecting him a little bit too much today. So it's been great. I know he was eager to be here today, as everybody is, but we'll catch him around in July. Also, some of the board members that are here, of course, Jason Hogue with American Family Insurance, who's our president. Kim Fall also is on our board. Rob DiPiazza is here with Hometown Values. Randy Hayden is supposed to be here. He hasn't snuck in yet either. There's a lot of these people that are sneaking in on me, I think. Daryl Ebert's back on our board after doing a stint as president a few years ago, and Dave Zabel, our city manager, as well. So let's give them a round of applause. Oh, I almost forgot somebody, or I did forget, but Rolando Rodriguez as well from Soul Case Management is on our board. It's a good thing he's sitting right in front of us. I guess did I mention Tara? Tara is still on our board as immediate past president that we worked her in for doing for extra year because of COVID. And so that's just kind of one of those things where we appreciate our board's overall effort over this past year, and we had to make some changes, and they've been really great and good to work with, and making sure that the Pasco Chamber is on a solid foundation. So I don't want to take up too much time with kind of an update with the Pasco Chamber, but because we have a loaded program today. We have obviously been affected by COVID, and we've had to make some concessions like most businesses have throughout our area in the country, and we're no different, but I think just kind of to be brief, I think we're coming out of this is in a really strong position, a lot better than we thought, 15 months ago what it could be, or even a year ago, and a lot of the credit goes to the board of directors with their foresight and making sure that we're in a good position. So we're ready to hit the ground running. So much of what we do with the Pasco Chamber derives around events, and so it's been kind of quiet at the office, but we're looking forward to get back into that. One of those events that we're working forward to having is Riverfest 2021. That's going to be October 9th at Columbia Park in Kennewick. It's a community-wide celebration of our hydropower system and all the benefits that our river system provides us. And this will be our fourth year of doing this. Last year, unfortunately, we weren't able to have the festival, but this year we're looking forward to having it back again, and really putting some effort to make sure it's just as good as what it was in the past. A couple of years ago, we had over 4,000 people come to that. And so in lieu of not being able to do the festival last year, we made a documentary called Our Rivers, Our Life, and really high quality production that North by Northwest out of Spokane put together for us. I even see it running on PSC-TV, so thanks John for getting that in the mix there as well too. But we had the opportunity to broadcast it in the Tri-Cities a couple times on KView, and then a couple months ago we were able to have it on Como TV in Seattle, and we had some really good ratings from that. I think it was a really great pivot for us to do to continue the dialogue and the conversation and the education on what our river system is about. So a lot of that credit goes to the Riverfest Steering Committee for coming up with the ideas, because we're just kind of throwing spaghetti on the wall and see what stuck. And we ended up putting together a really nice production in about a month's time or less, and you would never know by looking at it because they did such a great job. So thank you to all the supporters for that. A lot of our Riverfest sponsors kicked in some extra dough to make sure that happened. And it turned out really good. If you haven't seen it yet, riverfestwa.com, you can watch it there. And then as we close out, I do want to thank the business community and the Pasco Chamber community for stepping up during COVID. We weren't able to have our monthly luncheons. Of course, we transitioned to Zoom. And many of you here still stepped up and sponsored the Zoom monthly meeting by still paying what it would cost to have lunch. So I thank you. That helped us immensely, especially giving us peace of mind as we were going through this pandemic, that we knew that there was going to be a light at the end of the tunnel, and we knew that we had the support of the community. So it really did mean a lot, even though it probably wasn't much for your effort to do that. We really do appreciate it, and it was something that was very appreciated, so thank you. So with that, hopefully I didn't take too long, I want to invite some of our new members that have joined the Pasco Chamber during COVID, which is also something that was very enlightening to see, and uplifting as well too. So we have a few businesses I'd like to introduce, and Jason, if you want to help me with that, and we'll hand out their plaques. Not everyone can make it, but first I'd like to invite Team Total Employment and Management. I don't know if didn't see Tasha come in here. Axe Keeper, Valerie and Landon, come on up. I know they're here. By the way, if you haven't seen, if you're not familiar with axe throwing, you can come check out their mobile axe throwing, I guess what you call it, cage, whatever it is. But it's after lunch, and go check it out. They're located off of Chapel Hill. They've obviously with opening during the pandemic has been a challenge too. So it's really something neat to go check it out. West Pasco Pharmacy, I know that we have Manu and Satia, come on up. West Pasco Pharmacy, they're on Sandifer. that was our first ribbon cutting in a long time as well, too. So that was fun to get back in the mode with that, and we had a really good turnout. Saul Martinez was there as well, too. So it was actually kind of fun and great to see everybody and see a new business, independent business for what they do. I know that I've moved my my prescriptions over there as well, too. In and out, super easy. Don't have to wait in lines, and very convenient. And then Jms Construction, you may know them as the company. Let's see, Jim and Meredith. Let's give them a round of applause. If you read the Tri-City Herald, you saw a big article about them here recently on their development of Osprey Point. So really something that was really going to transcend Pasco and redefine that and really make it something that is something new, and we're looking forward to that. I know there's a lot of work in front of them, but it's really going to redefine what the riverfront, what we need to do to the riverfront here in the Tri-Cities. So they're really taking the lead on that. So thank you. So that's our new members that joined us today. There's a couple handfuls that couldn't make it, but we'll hit them as we start getting through the rest of the summer. So with that, thank you. Welcome. If you don't mind, stay there for a second. I'm going to grab a picture, and in the meantime, I'm going to have Jason come up, and he's going to lead us through the rest of the program. Did I catch you off guard?
Let's do it.
Okay. With that, Jason Hogue, American Family Insurance, President of the Pasco Chamber.
Thanks, Colin. Let's make this adult size. No, good to see everybody. I'll just hold it for a second here because I don't really know what I'm doing. But I want to thank Colin for having barbecue sauce on the day I need to stand up here and talk. I appreciate that, Colin. Thanks for that decision. But one of the things, the great traditions here at the Pasco Chamber is everybody gets to know your name. So this is part of the meeting where we're going to go around, introduce ourselves, and say hello to all your fellow members. So perfect. Thank you, everyone. And speaking of Conover, we got another. Oh, someone just walked in. Could you introduce yourself, sir?
Sean Sant, Franklin County.
All right. Thanks, Sean. And now our sponsor presentation is going to be by the folks here at Conover Insurance. So let me introduce Kim and Garrett to come up and talk a little bit about this company that has been around for a while. When I say a while, I don't mean like 10 years. I mean like at a zero. So Kim, welcome.
I've hung out with this chamber for a long time, and I've never stood up here, so hello, you all. I get the pleasure to chat with you a little bit about Conover and Hub Insurance, which we are now proud to be a part of. But first, I have to say, I am super happy that those of us that have been on Zoom meetings all year with Jason Hogue, that we're now sharing him with you. His wit and humor has no end. So thank you, Jason. So just kind of a bit of history I wanted to start with Conover. We've been serving the Tri-Cities and supporting this community since 1908. So that's how far our roots go back here. Most of you probably have known Ed Ray, and many of us have been around years. Many of our employees are 30, 40 years at Conover, so long tenure here. Franklin County in particular means a whole lot more than insurance to Conover, so we have all put blood, sweat, and tears into any committee or any organization that has to do with Franklin County, so we're glad to be here. In 1981, and Ann, you can check me if my fact is wrong, but Dunning Ray joined with our initial agency to become Conover Ray and later Conover Insurance. Our merger with Hub, which was announced as of May 1st, brought together two brokerages with very like-minded philosophies for customer service as well as an entrepreneurial philosophy. It really is our spirit for both Hub and for Conover. Hub had been looking for some time for a footprint in the Tri-Cities. We're a great community, and they just had not been here, so it was a great merger for them. We actually were one of their largest to transition in, so it has been drinking through a fire hose for us since the 1st of May. All new systems, tremendous resources that Hub will bring. We are now 14,000 employees strong. Hub is the 4th largest insurance brokerage in the world. They are international, and they are the largest, number 1 largest privately owned brokerage. So that's a part of what Conover becomes. Hub operates truly in hubs, so the Pacific Northwest that Conover is the largest portion of is the hub that we fit in. So we are still Conover and still your local boots on the ground. So that's important for us to make sure you all understand. So what does that mean to you? Literally, I sort of talked about that, is our resources and services will be even greater than what we already provide to our insureds. So we're really excited about some of that, some really updated and cutting edge look at the market, especially for commercial insurance, and most of you who partake in that will understand the hardening market and what that's looked like for all of us. So we're excited to be able to bring that to you. And then I also just really wanted to talk about, this is the foundation for our next 100 years. We plan to be here. All of us plan to be here, the same people. And part of that foundation is our new building. I'm going to let Garrett talk about that in a minute, but I know I've only been there for, well over a decade, but when my first day, when I walked into Conover after they asked me to come to work for them, I walked in the door and the carpet was pink, and it had lots of little wrinkles on it where it was stretched across the floor, and the little fisheye windows. So I don't know how many of you have been by our office on Lewis Street lately, but I can tell you those of us in the building will be sad to leave it for the historical piece of it, but we're super excited about a new building. So with that, I'm going to introduce you to Garrett Green. Garrett is overseeing the build of our new buildings, so I'll let him chat about that.
Okay, thank you, Kim. Thanks everyone for having me here today. My name is Garrett Green with Conover and Paladin Services. So this is our new building. It's actually just down the street from here on the corner of 20th and St. Andrews Loop. It will be a 22,000 square foot just office space that'll serve as Conover's new Pasco location. Conover will be taking over 10,000 square feet of the building, which leaves us with an additional 12,000 square foot that we're in the process of marketing to tenants. This has been a project about 1.5 years in the making. We just broke ground last Tuesday. Shervinell has been our general contractor, and MMEC our architects, engineers. So yeah, we're very excited to be building this space in Pasco and looking forward to the future. Great.
Thanks, you guys. Thanks for having us.
All right, thank you to you guys. Thank you for Conover. The building looks great. Obviously, you can't tell the story of the Pasco Chamber without Conover, and thank you very much to continue to support, and we'll look for another 100 years. So now we get to hear from our keynote speaker. Saul Martinez, we gotta get to talk about you a little bit before you come up. Saul Martinez grew up in a large, close-knit family in the small town of Mesa, Washington, here in northern Franklin County, and he graduated from Connell High. And then he earned his Associates of Arts degree from here in Pasco at Columbia Basin College. He's been a resident in Pasco since 2002, married to his wife Nettie for over 20 years, and they have 4 children. Currently works for Mission Support Alliance as an environmental compliance officer, and also owns a small business here in Pasco. He has a passion to provide opportunities for success and improving the quality of life for all the citizens of Pasco. So prior to his city council work, he held a position on the Pasco School Board for 5 years, where he also served as president of the school board. He's a graduate of Leadership Tri-Cities and an active volunteer in the Washington Junior Golf Association. Been on City Council since 2010 and elected mayor in January of 2020, where he serves in District 3. Representative. So, ladies and gentlemen, your mayor, Mr. Saul Martinez.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's really a pleasure to be here, but I got to get some things out of the way. There's a reason why I bring this. She's crying already. We have a sentimental part of the genes in our family that my mom gave me, and I don't know what to do with them. So please excuse me if I use this once or twice during, I was even practicing it. But you know, what's really interesting is our city manager, Dave Zabel, he has one too. And we have a competition on see who could last longer before we break down. But all that is because of the passion that he has and that we have in what we do in our community. So with that, this little icebreaker here, I have a couple of notes that I wanted to share with you today, and I'm just going to be transparent today. This is a very special and emotional time for me because, you know, with everything that's happened this last year during the pandemic, and since I was granted this opportunity, this privilege, and I'll pause a couple times throughout the speech. But, you know, it's been a privilege for me to be here today for so many reasons. And yet, throughout this whole journey that I've been on, they've recorded me so they can go make fun of me later. But once I get it out of the system, it'll be fine. I'll be just great. Right, Dave? So, you know, this journey that we've been on in this, since, you know, we started as mayor in 2020, has been a roller coaster ride of emotions and for everyone and just all the things that have come about. And, you know, I just feel so much for our students of the Pasco, of the whole state and our whole nation for that, if I want to begin with that. You know, last year they didn't even have a graduation for our kids. This year they had to have 6 in Pasco or more just to make sure we had the population down so, you know, we can respect and try to be conscious of being safe because of the virus and whatnot. But just so many things have happened this year, and I'm going to try to get through them. And I'm just going to be transparent and just share with you a little bit what's in my heart. But first, I'd like to do what I think I need to do, because I always forget, is I have to introduce my family. So many of you may already know them, but I would just like to say that the gentleman here, the axe thing, I'm not sending my wife there, okay? Because those would have been used already. But no, I have heard of you guys all over the Tri-Cities. Matter of fact, I think if I'm not mistaken, you were at Faith Assembly here or somewhere. There's always your business is coming up frequently throughout the Tri-Cities, and we thank you for being a part of that. And it's one of the best things that I could do as a mayor and a representative of our council is to go around to the different businesses and see everybody that's opening up and everybody that's just anxious to get back to work and starting a new business. West Pasco Pharmacy, what a pleasure it was to get going, and to see the diversity that's coming into our community is just beautiful. Not to mention all the other, I've only been in a couple ribbon cutting ceremonies. We've, with the Lewis Street overpass the other day, that was a well-attended meeting and an event, and how exciting. I mean, I was just privileged to be the one to be mayor at this time after so much work went into that project. We might talk a little bit about that. But I'd like to introduce to you today, and I'd like for you to stand. You can stand. My wife, Nettie Martinez, and I would like to give her a round of applause. Because, you know, she like many of our wives, why lie, okay? They tell us what to do, they tell us how to be, and she should be the one up here speaking today. And you know, she's my biggest cheerleader and strongest supporter, and the truth is that it's kind of her fault why I'm here. So I'm just kind of following through, and she's been my right hand for all the time that I've been, she's been supporting my ministry, which is what this is for me. And so it's been a special time, and and then I'll get more to you later. The other people I'd like to mention is, again, my sister, Adelita Martinez. She's a pastor, and she has a ministry here in Tri-Cities, and she's our oldest of, my mom and dad had 11 children, but 9 living today. And she's here with me today because she's one of my biggest cheerleaders and supporters as well. And my son, Samson, who, of course, you know, we all live for our kids, and I've seen Rolando here as his daughters were introducing themselves. You know, your eyes glow when your kids are up and presenting themselves in the community. They are your daughters, right? Yeah, this one here, right? Yeah, I knew one of them went to school with my daughter. So when I heard Rodriguez, I figured it was you. And then last but not least, I wanna thank my mom and dad, Zenaido and Angelica Martinez, for being the major reason, why I'm here. For obvious reasons, 1, and 2, because of all the work they put in for us to be here today and leading the community. So we'll get a little bit more on that later. And anyway, so I wanted to introduce them today. Next, we have a presentation today, and I want to go over a little bit of the things that that's happening in Pasco. You all are probably well aware of most of them, but I'll just go through these real quick, and then I'll have a couple more things on my story. But the progress, pride, and prosperity. Again, part of it is going around. The VJ and his son over here. I got to walk through his facility over here at the new Marriott, and what a facility! Do you guys know that it's a 24 hours? I hope I'm right. A 24-hour Starbucks there. So if anybody wants Starbucks at 2 in the morning, you can go there, and they have people trained to give you Starbucks drinks there. So when I saw that, I was really impressed. I have a sister who's addicted, so it always helps. So yes, and going around to each and every one of your businesses that I've touched. Banner Bank over here with Isaac, you've been a pleasure to work with, and I can go on and mention everyone. But it's one of the great things we're doing here in Pasco, and so prideful and so happy that we're growing. And because if you're not growing, in my opinion, you're dying. And of course, there's always the balance of how fast you want to grow. And here in Pasco, obviously, we've grown exponentially, and it doesn't look like it's slowing down anytime soon. So with that, next slide, please. So we've had an opportunity to have some awards provided to us from the Association of Washington Cities. We have a staff that is unbelievable. And I have to tell you now, it is so nice and such a privilege to have people running your city that, first of all, many people want running their cities. And 2, it's always so much nicer to have to prepare to find somebody to fill those shoes rather than hoping they would leave real soon, right? And today, I would like to tell you that we have a city manager, Dave Zabel. Why don't you go ahead and stand up again, will you, Dave? He's a little guy, but when we replaced, and again, I'm just going to be very transparent, Gary Crutchfield. How many remember Gary Crutchfield here? Being in my position, you hear every side of the story. You got people who are happy, not happy. You're never going to make everybody happy. But I got to tell you, that man built our city. He helped. He wasn't the only one, but he had such a big part in making Pasco who they are. Not to mention all our ex-council members who, believe it or not, had a vision to do the things that they're doing, such as the wastewater treatment plant that was started several councils ago. That was probably one of the most visionary things that I could think of that a council could do for a community, and it's just been a wonderful and a way to think of the future and how our community is going to be built. It's just amazing to hear and to know and get have a knowledge of the people who made all this happen. And Dave is the leader who we were able to bring on board after Gary Crutchfield. And I got to tell you, just in my opinion, Gary Crutchfield was all business, but this man is not only business, he's heart. And appreciated his leadership and what he's done, and the people he's brought to the staff have done an amazing job. And just most recently, as he's introduced, Adam Lincoln comes to us from Pullman. Go Cougs. I'm also a Husky fan, but only when it's appropriate. But anyway, very happy to have Adam Lincoln jump on board. Good, vibrant, young, energetic, and all those good things that he has expressed so far. So we're really excited about our staff. And we have John Funfar in the back, who is he helps us with cameras and community outreach. And we have won multiple of these awards because of the staff that Dave and our City of Pasco has done. And we'll get a little bit more to that later. So next slide, please. So population, I get asked many, many times, how many people do we have in Pasco now? Well, we have, as you can see here, nearly 78,000 people recorded so far here in Pasco. When I moved here in 2001, it was literally I believe it was when I moved here, it was about 40,000 or 35,000 people when I moved here in 2001. We have increased our populations by over 100%. And it's just amazing how fast it's growing. And you know, we have all kinds of issues we confront every day, and we have all these challenges that come to us every day. And how do we plan for the future and make sure we have space for everything and get everything done correctly? And I got to tell you, it's a big challenge, but the staff and the city manager that we have has stepped up to the plate to do the best they can. And you know, now that the pandemic is over, or it's not over, now that it's coming to an end and we're starting to get back open, everybody wants to go back to work. And we have a small staff to consider the 78,000 people we're serving in this city when it comes to all the water, the sewer, the power, the garbage, everything that we have to deal with. And then to also provide the services to the contractors who are making all this happen. I mean, it is quite the challenge, and we're working our very best and very hard to try to fix that, because there's always going to be issues, but with the professional help that we have, we're getting through that. So the population has increased. We're about 80,000, and we're projected to grow another 20,000 people in the next 20 years. And those numbers could vary a little bit, but it's just amazing. People want to come here. People are coming here. They're seeing the gem, the 300 plus days of sunlight that we have here, and it's a place where people want to be. So next slide, please. So this screen here kind of gives a little bit of information on the population. Again, violent crimes. Our crime rate, I'd like to acknowledge also our Chief Roski back here, a new Chief of Police, who's worked very hard in all the hard situations that we've run into this last year and a half, and how he stepped up to the plate after the Chief Metzger and carried the baton to having a community with all the different amenities and all the different programs that we have in place to keep our city safe. And I don't know about you guys, but maybe it's not fair for me to say, but everywhere I go in Pasco, whether it's east, west, north to south, I feel safe. And I believe that our community is just coming together to giving the people the quality of life and feeling safe, even at all hours of the day and night for our community. I want to thank Chief Roski for that. But so our crime rate, thank you. And obviously as we grow, we're going to face more challenges. And as we grow, we might have a little bit more activities happen, with our mental and health issues that we're confronting. We're working with those. We're working with programs every day to try to give attention to that part of our community so that we can assist. And it's very hard to give access to everyone, but we're doing the best we can. And Mr. Porter back there, I really appreciate what you're doing for our community as well. It's real hard. A lot of people are affected in a negative and positive way, but appreciate the ministries that are going on in our city and what you're doing for our community members so that it can continue to be vibrant. Go to the next slide, please. So part of our Pasco Police, we got national and state accreditation. We have all these different things that are coming in so that we can ensure that when something happens in our community that we're transparent and we're going to do the best we can to make sure we're fair and that we're serving every one of our community members the same. And we do that through things like body cameras, the hot spotters, that's been a big issue. And that's where we take out somebody like a counselor with the police department to go out and help mitigate the issues and make sure that we try to assist our community members who might be under the influence on something, people think that firemen and policemen, that they're God. They know all these things. Well, you know, they're only trained to do so much. But we have programs like this to have the resources available to help those that are in need in those conditions. And community group meetings, and then the homeless liaison officers that we have throughout the community trying to help ensure that everybody gets attended to as best as we can attend them. Next slide, please. Assessed value in Pasco, as you can see here, in 2002 to today, it's increased 421%. Now, I don't know about you, but if I had any money at all in 2002, I would have liked to buy some more property. For many reasons, but you know, these are the things that kind of help the city grow. When I got onto the city council, one of my highest priorities was to assist to try to fix our property taxes. And you know, it's really interesting, because this is where politicians have to put the sock in their mouth. Because I really was hoping that we could increase our commercial, our industrial businesses to bring in more so that we can have a better tax base so that our taxes don't increase. Well, I got to tell you, maybe they have increased, but they haven't increased nowhere near as much as they could have because of all these industries and commercial that we're moving into Pasco. I was tired of seeing everybody go to Kennewick for their businesses, you know, to go do all their business in Kennewick. Well, we're big enough now, and we are Pasco now, and we have the ability to do it ourselves, and that was one of the big things, and taking that vision with the wastewater treatment plant and having the processing plants. If you haven't been by King City truck stop lately, you can see the advancement of Port of Pasco. What a great team to work with there, and working collaboratively with them to help our community and our tax base, so that we can try to fix that for our community members. So next slide, please. Comprehensive and urban growth planning areas. Wow, you know, just start with a little bit with a donut hole down here. What used to be country over here, just right West Pasco. What used to be West Pasco. Now West Pasco is even further west. But this urban growth area, and just a little bit of information. You know, it's very complicated to ensure we have the right population, the right amount of commercial and residential zoning. There's so many things that going into expanding our urban growth area, and this is very complicated and very difficult, but as you can see here, we've expanded and you know, making room for growth, and trying to make sure that we have all the amenities we need in our community. So this is a pretty big deal for us. Next slide, please. Of course, this is another population increase. Go to the next slide, please. Urban growth area, expansion. So we just went through a process to get the expansion approved, and Dave will correct me if I'm wrong, but it's all been approved, signed, and working with the airport obviously was another big issue with this, and so there was a lot of work that went into this and into this activity. Go ahead, next slide. Oh, and then Pasco downtown. Ooh, have I ever got a lot of pressure from both ends of town. You know, so here we put all this attention and everything's growing west. Well, what about East Pasco? What about our downtown Pasco? Well, as a community member, as our council member Milne here can attest, you know, we don't focus on one side of town. We focus on everything we can for our community, and we have seemed to put a lot of resources and a lot of money into our downtown Pasco, and most recently, as you can see, there's a lot of construction going on. One, because we finally got the okay with the Lewis Street overpass going in and starting construction there. And then we're going to revitalize the downtown farmers market area. And the hope is, you know, in the next 2 to 3 years when that gets completed, just imagine how beautiful it's going to be to come into the entrance of downtown with a renovated farmers market downtown area with the new road, the new bridge coming in. And we're just, we have a lot of hope that will bring a lot of new people, new businesses, just revitalize the downtown area. Because right now, honestly, folks, I mean, it's very difficult with how old the buildings are and try to get them into compliance. I personally have realizing how difficult that is, And so we're working together to try to find resources and funding to help our downtown area and revitalize it. And in my vision, in my eyes, I wanted it to look like First Street in Walla Walla, where everybody's dancing and enjoying themselves outside in a very family-friendly environment where everybody can just enjoy the culture and just everything that happens down there. So that's the plan. Next slide, please. Fire stations. We just opened up 2 new fire stations over in the west end of town, and so we can more strategically plan where those were put. Very expensive, but we think it's going to be lucrative in the long run, and it's very exciting to see we have state-of-the-art fire stations. And maybe many people will say, well, we didn't need all that stuff, but actually, I think in 5 or 10 years, you might think different because we're thinking ahead for the future as well and for the safety of our firefighters and the protection of them as well. So it's really important we take care of them. So next slide, please. We got the Broadmoor Mall area. Bike pedestrian improvements. Everywhere we go throughout the city, we're trying to find ways to improve and maintain our equipment and our facilities to make them last for the future. And with that, I'm just looking at Mr. Ebert back there, how exciting it was when we got a new contract to get the longer seasons, and with the work and the renovations that we've done on the Giza Stadium, right? Everything's changed. So a lot of things have changed. So yeah, very excited about that and very excited about your leadership there, Daryl. And when he called me and said, hey man, good news, that was music to my ears. I hadn't heard good news in a long time when he called me that morning. So it was really exciting for that. But a lot of things went into all this work here, like the Broadmoor Master Plan and environmental impact statements. So much work. I mean, I could sit here and we can get into politics and why do we have to do all this stuff? But the reality is that it's there, and until it gets changed or somebody improves it, that's what we have to work with. But we're getting it all done. Next slide, please. Osprey Point, man, what an exciting project we have going on there with the Port of Pasco. I just can't wait to see it all happen. I'm actually looking forward, and I hope I'm not overstepping my boundaries, but there's supposed to be an amphitheater going in there. I'm just excited to see what that's going to bring, that whole area with the new housing. How about those new apartments put in over there, over by the Crazy Moose in Pasco? We just went by there, we were on our boat and got to see the people who get to enjoy that riverfront property out there, and the view is just so pretty. And we're just excited about all those new activities that are going on out there, and excited to see that we're preparing for the future. And I know that this project here is going to prepare us for some more growth, more people coming in. And it's just going to be exciting to see all that come to fruition. Next one, please. Industrial development. Again, I already kind of touched on this. We have some potential, or you can say potential, or we already have big things coming to Pasco. I'm really excited. With help with our staff and the management in City of Pasco, we're bringing in some processing plants and some other businesses that are going to come in and help this tax base and help bring more professional jobs coming into our communities, and so we can be as vibrant as we ever been, and just exciting to see the industrial development. And again, it's through that wastewater treatment plant that a lot of this was able to happen. So next slide, please. COVID, oh my goodness. So this is the part where I became mayor. I was selected by my council in January of 2020, and with only 3 months later, COVID started. But we've had to deal with so many things, as we all know. I got to be careful on some of the things that I say because, yeah, I've worked hard for many of you and many of our city community members on working with our governor on just how to bring balance. You know, granted, it might be difficult to have the same rules for the whole state, but I worked very hard for you guys, just trying to tell the governor and express to him and share with him our issues here in Pasco. They're going to be different from people on the west side. Did the best we could, but throughout everything, we maintained compliance and we moved forward, and here we are today, ready to go and ready to open up doors, and we did it safely. You know, there's no doubt that somehow, I'm pretty sure there's people in this room that were affected by the virus, somehow with some friends or family that perhaps maybe didn't make it, and I'm sorry for that. But you know, there's that balance, and we just worked real hard to keep things open, stay compliant, and move things forward here in our city of Pasco. And so with a lot of that had to do with our fire department, Chief Gear, and his participation with the COVID testing, and then the vaccination site that he kind of led the efforts over in the Benton Franklin County Fairgrounds. And there was a lot of work that went into that, a lot of time, a lot of resources, a lot of money. And but we got through it, and we're on our way to getting over that. And hopefully by June 30th, we can open our doors completely. So next slide, please. We have also some resources within the City of Pasco. If there's any issues, there's 311 app, and you could submit your request via mobile devices or the city website. That's where John Funfar comes in, and he has established or at least assisted in getting these programs available so that there's more communication and we could help our community members handle little issues. You know, it is really difficult. Many of the times, I have to admit that some of the ways to get the attention is through a complaint. And then the city goes out and tries to respond and see if everything's compliant and try to help our citizens. And a lot of times, you know, we don't have the staff to cover everybody as soon as they would like. But anyway, these resources are available to help assist in getting attention and getting your issues resolved within the community. So that's been a real good help in addition to our community. Next slide. So with that, that's kind of what's going on. A lot of excitement. In a way, it's a breath of fresh air that now, you know, we get to open up, but in another way, it's very stressful to try to accommodate everybody and their needs. And we're just going to do the best we can to continue, and I know David's working hard. I know I probably spent too much time, but I'll just finish with this very quickly. You know, it's a bittersweet for me because this is one of the first times I get to address the community as a mayor, and what and how I even got here. Back in 2010, I was appointed onto the city council, and I could have told you that there was no way I was going to get this position because I was competing with an attorney. And I was competing with the superintendent of a school district in Hermiston at the time, I believe. And the reason I even stepped up to the plate was because I was actually on the school board for 5 years, and my wife became a teacher. That was her long passion, is to become a certified teacher, and she wanted to teach. So I said, honey, they don't pay me enough in this job. I wanted to give to my community because of all the things that were done for me and my family. There was something that I felt deep inside that I needed to give back. So I thought, I didn't do military service, and I respect everybody in our armed forces. So I'm going to give to my community for 4 years, just like they do in the military, right? Well, that happened real quick. And I realized that when you step into this job, after 4 years, you're just getting your feet wet, right? And it took literally 10 years or better before I felt like I even had some type of influence. But with that, I was on the school board for 5 years. I had to step down so she can get a job here in Pasco. And it was during that time that I had the privilege of going through the Leadership Tri-Cities program, which I know several. I got a classmate here, Daryl back there from Yokes. He was in my Leadership Tri-Cities class, and man, did I learn a lot in that program. And I got to see so many beautiful things and what comprises a community, from healthcare to environmental to many things that come together as a community. And so I just, my wife says, well, I don't want you to get off the school board so I can teach. And I said, well, I want to get off the school board so you can teach. And and I said, I'll tell you what. And it just, timing was everything. And Joyce Olson at the time, and she might have been mayor, but not positive. She had to resign because she was moving away. And I said, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go post for this city council position, and so that you can be a teacher. And if I get it, great. And if I don't, great. And then again, I went through the interview process, and if these attorneys, if they could just learn to be quiet for a little while, they would win all the time, But I'm just teasing Lynn. Lynn's a good friend of mine. So anyway, but I want to say something really special here. So at the time, there was Rebecca Francic, Joyce Olson had just left, and there was obviously 5 other council members. And please, just try to go with, follow me here. This council member, and the history of Pasco was I mean, it was a surprise to have 2 Caucasian women on the city council, okay? And so be it. They did a wonderful job. All the previous council members did a great job, and their heart was in the right place. But again, there was this, I want to share with you that I'm an American of Mexican descent. And this hits close to home because, you know, for many, that could be offensive. For many of my Hispanic friends, that could be offensive. But that's what I am. I was born and raised here. This is my home. My parents are from Mexico. They worked their tail off, migrating throughout the whole country. And it came to a point where my oldest sister, as you can see here, she was hit with polio. And so after struggling quite a few years with that, my dad keeps telling me he was making 3 to 5 cents an hour at a dairy to try to make it, to help my sister with the medical bills. And this was like in North Dakota. I think she was born in Oklahoma, right? She was born in Oklahoma, and they migrated, and they had lost a baby already, and the doctor said, you need to settle down. Well, they already racked up this big old hospital bill in North Dakota, so they didn't know what to do. And anyway, after a long process, my dad ended up coming to the Northwest, where he settled over here in the Columbia Basin, and didn't have a clue how to run equipment. But you know, he was this go-getter guy that's going to do whatever it takes to get a job. And he ran into, what was his name, the first farmer? The first farmer that gave you the name, Sam? Clarence Medlock. His name slips my mind. Anybody remember Clarence Medlock? Well, that gentleman there was drunk. And he asked my dad, do you know how to drive tractor? And dad says, yeah, I'll go drive tractor. And he goes, go get on that tractor, go start plowing that field. Well, first of all, he had the plows the wrong way. And second of all, he popped the clutch and it went in a wheelie. And, you know, he gives his story about how that happened. But, you know, he was a quick learner, and he got in there and started doing the work. And, of course, this man, he was a very hard worker. Not to mention, you know, my mom, who had a struggle with my sister, and you know, she was working in the fields and she was pregnant, and you know, one thing they didn't know is they didn't know how to take birth control, okay? And at the time, you know, maybe there was a reason for that, but there was pros and cons to that, because, you know, when all of us were together, we'd go work the fields, my dad would swath a whole field cleaning beets, and man, he was just racking in the bucks doing that, you know? But anyway, so my dad worked very hard and started building relationships. It started with Mr. Medlock, and boy, I can tell you hundreds of farmers out here in the Columbia Basin that my dad worked for. We did custom farming, custom digging. Ray Bailey, Mr. Ray Bailey is the one who he worked, was a second employer, and he became one of the first men to drive a potato harvester. And he became so good at that you know, he was wanted by a lot of other people, but Ray Bailey kept him there. He started working on contract, made some good money, bought his first truck. My mom would drive that truck. She would have 4 kids in the truck, breastfeeding one. Dad was loading her. I mean, stories go on, and we even have some videotapes. It's so beautiful to watch. And these guys just worked very hard. And then my dad bought a farm, and we did a lot of custom farming throughout the Columbia Basin. And then all my brothers got in the trucking business, where we literally, I could tell you confidently that there's probably we've hit, my family, this man and his kids have hit probably 90% of every field that you see out here, whether it's with a piece of equipment or, you know, cutting asparagus, working the land somehow. This man had provided a lot of, he's done a lot for this Columbia Basin, and most importantly, making us feel loved every day of our life. All 11 of us lived in a little 1,000 square foot house in Mesa. And I'll never forget one day, I was in the room doing something, and I don't know why. He doesn't really give compliments that much, but he said, son, you know, you're going to be the mayor of Mesa someday, you know? And you know, I took that to heart. I mean, I just took that to heart. And just continued. He showed us good work ethic. He had all the boys working on the farm. We all worked together. And then, you know, in 2001, I moved here to Pasco. got very involved with the school district because I wanted to make sure my kids were going to adapt to the school system here, because there was cops in the schools here, and got very involved. And then it was Gene Reichman and Rella Ryman who I credit this whole punishment of political career to them, because they said, hey, we need you on that school board. And one way or another, those ladies made it happen, And so, I just put in my effort and their support. And then I was appointed onto the school board to become president one of those years. And it was pretty awesome. I was one of the people that was involved in getting the STEM school started and also getting the dual language program started in our city of Pasco. And I got to tell you, those were very important. My very first meeting as a president of the school board, very first official meeting, I had to deal with the CEO of Battelle and we had a joint school district, and it happened to be hosted here in Pasco, so I was so nervous, but we got through it and got to accomplish all the things and created and at least have a part in creating this beautiful education system that we have in our city of Pasco. So then I go back to interviewing for this council position, and I got to tell you, it wasn't easy for these men and Rebecca Francic to choose me. Because the options were obvious who was more intelligent. I was just a young Hispanic man who, I credit these people here for giving me the ability to communicate and grow relationships with everybody in the Columbia Basin. And anyway, they really took a leap of faith, and they chose me to be on the council. And as I was on the council, I could sit here for hours telling you all the experiences I had, but I realized how important it is that your council or the board that runs your community looks like its community. Because these people who meant well and wanted the best for their community, when you don't have a diverse board on your, running your city, then there's a lot of elements left out. And that's one of the things that I feel most proud about, that I would be able to share some of the culture and some of the things that the people were struggling in our communities that they never had a clue about, just because they didn't know. So that's where I really got passionate about helping in this capacity, because I felt like I was actually helping them realize the struggles and what moves them and what they need, so that we can be a more vibrant and safe community, and that was a big deal. And I want to credit each and every one of those guys and Rebecca Francic for choosing me in that time, because I know it was a difficult time. And then fast forward real quick, in 2018, they changed the voting system to district-only voting. And I will tell you that I was a little bit against that when that first started, because I feel like if somebody's going to make a vote on my behalf, I should be able to vote on that person, right? I mean, it only makes sense. However, through the decision of the council, we decided to go to district voting only, and as you can see now, we have a very, very diverse council. And I want to tell you, and I want to share with you how proud I am of our council. It's not easy. We have people we have a very diverse, we have 2 females, 2 different ethnicities, Hispanic and Middle Eastern, and then we have 3 Hispanic males and then 2 Caucasians. And I gotta tell you, that team right there covers our city, and it looks like our city. And I'm so proud of these guys, because despite the differences that we have, and of culture, of ideas, of where we should be in every aspect, we hash it out in a professional manner, and we come up with what I think is a good product for our community. And I got to tell you, I'm very happy and proud to be a part of this team, because I feel like we're serving our community in the best capacity that we can, and I think it's moving in the right direction. And I just want to thank my council for that, and for the privilege and respect they have for me. It was really weird to get on a council where I was the most experienced one. I've always was the baby of the group, And it just so happened that when the voting districts came out, Mayor Matt Watkins at the time, who I owe so much to, he was mayor, and then I wasn't even mayor pro tem, so I thought, okay, I'm not gonna ever get to this point where, maybe I could be mayor someday, because I really, really wanted to do something. See, for me, ladies and gentlemen, I was at an Ag Hall of Fame, and I saw that Pete Tagaris won an award to be on the Ag Hall of Fame, and it was wonderful. He was well-deserved, all that good stuff, but he wasn't here to see it. And one of the big reasons, besides all the support that I got at home and my wife and my family, I wanted to show my kids what leadership was about. I wanted to show them that they needed to serve their community. And through this experience, I got to tell you what they learned is that they don't want to be in politics. But I can see my son being part of Three Rivers community. I can see them already giving back to the community. My older son and my other daughters are educators, and I just love to see how they're giving back in the way they know how, and that's what's really important to me. And this man and woman right here that you see here, or they once thought, a mayor for Mesa was a big deal. I wanted him to see this alive. And that was one of the motivators that I got to even run. Again, besides all the support I got at home, I wanted him to see this alive. So now that he's seen this, I'm getting out. So I get really emotional, and I apologize, but I got to tell you, I'm so proud of these people. They come from a place where there was a lot of poverty, and through hard work and living the American dream, my kids will never hopefully have to see a field again as far as hard labor goes, So when I see all those people out there working, I don't take it for granted. Those people working hard for you and me to have an apple we can afford, to have, asparagus that we eat and that we can afford. I mean, these people work hard. And it's very important for me to tell you that it's important for us to serve every aspect of our community. And if I could just leave that, as you all know, I won't be running again for many reasons. It was very hard to make this decision, and I've given it everything I have, and I will continue to do that until the end of the year when my term is over. But I just want you to know that, I asked myself, what have I done? But I think more importantly, it's just knowing that everybody has stepped up to the plate, opened their arms for me to come in, and know that, we'll never understand. We'll never understand the complexity of everybody's situation. I even got upset. I'm gonna be real with you guys. I even got upset because I heard that some students, and then hold on, let me say this. Some students had a Mexican flag wrapped around them as they graduated, okay? And in my heart, I was like, wait a minute, what happened there? Why are you doing that? And then after some conversation, we come to a realization it's because they're proud of their culture and their heritage. They don't mean it offensively. They just mean to say, hey, look, this is where we came from. This is our roots. But look, we're here in the United States. This is home now. And so many times we don't really stop and pause and understand why they're doing what they're doing. They don't, I would say 99% of the time, they don't mean it in a bad way. It's just a way that they know how to communicate something that we're not understanding, and it's really hard to get through that. Because I got to tell you, I know that could be offensive for some people. It was offensive to me, and that's why I wanted to communicate to our community that let's take some walls down, let's learn about each other, and let's celebrate those things that we have in common and respect those that we don't. And that's the way we're going to get together and go forward as a community and just learn to live with each other, even though we have differences. But again, let's celebrate those things we have in common, but respect those things we have different. And we'll never understand. I'll never know what Mr. Vattel went through. I'll never know what most of, Mr. Hastings went through to get to where he's at. I just know he has thick skin to do what he did, And again, thank you, Mr. Hastings, for calling here. Wonderful, wonderful work. Yeah, well, we got to mention moms every once in a while. But anyway, then that's the message I want to leave here today with you all. That, I've been working and I will continue to work with all my heart to move forward, to move this community forward, and I will eat some of those things that I feel, that might be important to me, but I think more importantly, we just have to think about the future. Did you guys hear lately, I'm going all over the place now, did you guys hear Did you guys see that the millennials aren't going to work like 9 to 5 anymore? These guys don't want to work. You know, why should they? You know, we could go on and on about that, but this is the bottom line. They're going to get away with it because, and it all comes to adapting to change. They're going to get away with it because these big corporations, if they don't adapt to this, what millennials want, they're going to lose money. They're going to have to shut down, or they're going to lose a lot of revenue. And the reason I'm bringing this up to you is because we have to learn to adapt to change. And I know it took people like that council that chose me that was hoping that change would be positive in the future. And I'm convinced that it is. And I just want to challenge each and every one of you today. As you go on being leaders in your businesses, in your community, try to understand everybody's culture, respect their differences, but celebrate those things that you have in common, and we can continue to be the striving community we will be. So I'm sorry if it took a little longer, but thank you very much. And Colin, thank you for everything. Thank you. And one more thing. In the Franklin Flyer, the Martinez family is featured in the article here, and it talks all about my mom and dad. So very proud of them, and thank you, honey, for everything, and Samson for coming.
Even though we know you said you're going to keep working, we want you to take a little bit of break. And as a token of our appreciation for all you've done for our community and your family's done for our community, enjoy some rounds of golf at Sun Willows.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Am I going to get in trouble for this? Am I going to get in trouble for this, Dan? No. Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And real quick, and we'll slide some time in for our next luncheon, but I do want to introduce Deputy Wisner, and they have a event that they're going to be putting on in Basin City later this afternoon. If you want to come up and just give just a really 1-minute synopsis as to what's going on, and they would really like to have community support on this. So with that, I guess it's Deputy, not Wisner, but
Jack Dodson.
okay. Come on up.
Thank you, Mr. Hastings. Thank you, all of you, for your time. So the reason why I'm here today is to let you guys all know about our National Night Out. First of all, I'm Jack Dodson. I'm with the Franklin County Sheriff's Office. I'm a patrol deputy. I apologize. So the event is a national event. It's held every year, first Tuesday in August. The Sheriff's Office has been hosting this for 3 years without being able to go last year due to the pandemic. For those of you who don't know about National Night Out, it's basically its design is to enhance relationships between neighborhoods, neighbors, and police to bring a sense of community. It's a good opportunity for, our sheriff's office to, I guess, just bring everybody together under positive circumstances. This year, we are asking for the community support to get the event going. Any type of support, whether you maybe have something from your businesses that might do well out there. We typically have about 500 to 600 people that attend in the past 3 years of the event being put on, or a financial donation. All of that's going to be used to purchase food, purchase drinks. We have bouncy houses, music, and events for the community, their children, everybody to attend. So if you don't have any questions, I'll let you guys get back to lunch. Thank you.
And we'll share some of that information too. I think they're going to hang around for a few minutes, so if you want to talk to the deputies and learn how you can get involved, that would be great. So as we conclude, I think Jason pulled out a winner for our door prize, a nice couple little gift baskets there that are, I guess, spring related. So with that, Jason?
Yes, the gift, it's some wine and some stuff to grill out. And today's winner, who is a banker, has no excuse, just needs another excuse to not work, Walter Timmons. Walter, come up and enjoy your afternoon off. All right, perfect. Thanks, everyone, for hanging with us. Thank you, Saul. Thank you for being here. Congratulations on all your public service and on your retirement from political office, or we can get you back. Anyway, thanks so much, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.